Welcome to my YouTube channel, and today we will discuss about the console application that we had created in our last session. And in the console application we will discuss about the file structure, the syntax of the console application, and how to write commands to describe our code, and what is the difference between WriteLine and Console.Write. Okay, let's start from the file structure. And we had created sorry we had created our getting started application in the last session. And first of all we will discuss the file structure. And when we have created our application, we can see that we have the following files in our project. I will open in a file explorer, and let's open it by right clicking on the file and opening it in the containing folder. Okay, and here we can see that we have the following files, and but this is our root folder, the console application, and we can see that we have the following files in our root folder. First of all, we have .vs folder. This is a Visual Studio created folder. In this folder, this is not our code in this folder, and we have our code in getting started solution and getting started folder. The Visual Studio had created this folder to gather the information of the logged in user of the Windows, and who is going to edit or add anything in our solution. It will be tracked in this folder. I will hide it by doing so. Okay, now it's gone, and we cannot see the hidden files anymore. Okay, then the solution file, we can see here the getting started.sln. It is called the solution file. Every solution of a Visual Studio project can have multiple projects in one solution file. I will open it in a notepad and let me show you. In the solution file we have the information about what was the version of our Visual Studio and what is the project inside the solution. This is the key of our project, and this is the name of our project. This is the path where our project is located in our directory, and here the global settings of the Visual Studio for that project. We can use these settings as well in our application. Okay, this is not your concern at that time. Let's start from getting started, and we can see we have two folders, bin and obj, in our getting started folder. These two folders are the compiled files of our project. Whenever we compile or build our project, these files would be generated automatically by the Visual Studio. And let me show you if I run it again, and it will generate these files as well. Okay, now I have run the folder project, sorry, and you can see that we have these two folders again in our directory. And other than that, we have getting started.csproj. In csproj we have the settings of our project that we had created. Let me show you this as well. And in this file we have the project setting of our console application that we are using Microsoft SDK, and what would be the output of our project when it will be compiled, and what would be the .NET version for our project, and what would be the root namespace of our project. I will explain this later. And then we have dependencies. These are the dependencies that Microsoft Visual Studio has already added to our project. These are by default dependencies, and we can use them as well. And other than that, we have a program.cs file. A program.cs file contains our code, and it will uh, have our code that would run and show us the output. Okay, and let's continue what is inside this file. We are using the keyword using, and this is a keyword, namespace is a keyword, and the keywords are the text that is defined by the language, and compiler understand it in a better way and has some meanings for that keyword. And we are saying that we are using system dependency. The system dependency is available there that we had in the dependencies drop down right here. You can see that, and we can use any library by using the keyword using. And then we have a namespace. Namespace is just a grouping of our files. Whenever we build our project, the compiler will build the DLLs or the assembly files based on the namespaces. To understand, you can say that it is just a grouping of our code files, and we can use it in another namespace as well. Like if I show you, I would have a new file, and I would add it. I would say test. Mhm. Okay, and you can see that we can change the namespace here. We would say that test namespace, and if I want to use this code in any other file, I have to use this namespace to use that code. I would say if I am using this in our program file, variable test equal to new test, new test. Okay, and now you can see that there is an error here, and you can see the errors in the error list. The type or namespace test could not be found. The error says that the compiler is unable to find where that code is. So we have to import this by writing using test namespace, and now the error is gone. Now you can use that file as well in that code. Okay, I can also import this by intelligence that the Visual Studio gave to us by hovering on the error list error, and you can see this is a suggestion for us, and you can use that method as well. Okay, then we have a keyword internal class static void main. What is this? You would say that teacher, are you gonna crazy? What are you doing? I don't understand. But wait, you have to wait until I would teach you what these things are, and I would cover these topics in a session related to the object-oriented programming, and you will understand it better in that session. For now, you have to trust me and follow me whatever I do. Okay. Now, the other commands or keywords we have, that is this command Console.Write getting started. We are using this command from the system library, and it would write something on our console, as I had shown you in the previous session, and I will can show it again. There you can see that it writes something on console that we had given to this method write. So if I want to write something in new line, how can I do that? So if I use this, and you can say I would run this, and now you can see that everything I had in this command is written in the same line. If I want to write them in a new line and want to add a line break at the end of every command, I have to use command console.write line, write line, and I will use this for all of them, and then run it again. You see everything we have in our commands is shown in a separate line, because the write line adds a line break at the end of this text that we had written here. Okay, what is next? I hope you understand it. Okay, and commands. So sometimes we need to write something on our code just to describe what is going to happen at that time, and we would say that I am sorry sorry I am testing testing testing, and you can see that we have errors in our code now. You can see the errors in the error list as well. But if I want to describe my code, how can I do this? I have to use the commands, and for commands you have to use the double backslash double backslash, and then if you want to uncomment this, you can remove this, or you can use the command control ku. You can comment this by command control kc and uncomment it by using the command. You can comment the line by using command control kc and uncomment it by using command control ku. Control ku. Okay, now you can write comments anywhere in your code that you can describe it in a better way. Let's remove it and move to the next topic. 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 Okay. Next, I have covered this topic as well: Console.Write and Console.WriteLine. Okay, what's next? The next topic is variable and data types. Okay, the variables and data types. Why do we need this? And if I show you something. Okay, if I say we have a student data that contains student age, student student age, his name, his marks, his grade, and anything. So we have to categorize the data, what data type it would be. Like the student name would be a text, student age would be a number, student marks would be a number, but it can be a decimal number. Like it can have a points in number, and his grade would be a single letter. A or B grade or C grade, anything. So we have to categorize our data. The same way we need the data types to describe the data and what, so we can describe the data, what the data types we are gonna use. So we have integer, short name, int. We have integer for whole numbers, like we have student age 7 years or 10 years. Our student marks we need to use double, and these are the data types we have to use. So if we have a student name, we have to use string. There is no data type like text, but string, it would be a combination of letters. So if we use integer data type, the integer data type takes 4 bytes in our memory. So it has a limit to store the value in it. It has a limit from this to this. If the value exceeds this limit, it would throw an error for us that the variable cannot store the data. In fact, the variables are the containers that holds our data. These are just containers for storing our data. Like we have a student age, name. We have to use the variables to store them in our application. So if we use long data type, it would take 8 bytes in our memory, and its limit is more greater than the integer value because it takes 8 bytes. And if we need to use the decimal points in our variables, because sometimes we have data in points like currency, student marks, so we have to choose float data type. It takes 4 bytes and it has fractional numbers as well, but it has a limit, same as the integer, but it has a limit in fractional points. It would take 6 to 7 decimal digits. If we need to use more decimal digits, then we have to choose another data type that would be double, and it would take 8 bytes in your memory. In your memory means not in your mind memory, but in your RAM. Okay, it would double the fractional decimal digits are 15, and we can use for larger decimal points. So another data type that is Boolean, it would store the true or false, whether it is true or not. It would take 1 byte, and in we have another data type that is character that would take 2 bytes in your memory, and it will store a single character or letter surrounded by a single quote. Because we have the single character, it is gonna be text. It seems to be a text, but if we quote it by single quote, it would be a character. And in the same way, we have string to store the textual data. It would take 2 bytes per character. The string is just a combination of more characters, so it would take 2 bytes per character to store our data, but it would be surrounded by double quotes. Okay, let's do some crazy work. Crazy work. Crazy, crazy, crazy work. Okay, let's say you have a student data and you want to store it. So we have read that we have to use variables to store our data. And how we can use the variable? First of all, you need to define the data type of your variable. What type of data would be stored in that variable? Let's say we have a variable age of student age. I would not use this question. And how can we use it? How can we define this it would be an integer or decimal or anything. So first of all, we need to write the data type int. Integer would be the age, and it would contain, and we can define double as well, money or salary. So how can we set some value to them? We can set value right here as well by assignment operator equal age equal to 9 and 9, and salary would be equal to 90000. Wow, amazing. Okay, in the same way you can assign a boolean variable. What would be the data type? Boolean, and it would store true or false. You can hover it and see that the commands or documentation of that data type represents a boolean true or false value. It can store true or false. So is 18 plus. So you are going to say that, teacher, are you crazy? Why this is an error? We have the data type, we have the name, we have the value. Why it is not working? Because we cannot use arithmetic operators in our variable name. Okay, always use text. We can use number as well, and I will show you empty. Again you will say that, teacher, you said that we can use the numbers as well or characters, but no, you can always use number definitely, but you cannot start the variable name by a number or a special factor. Okay, now you got it. Is 18 plus plus. Okay, now you can use this variable boolean, and in the same way you can have a character variable. Character would be grade equal to, you can see that I have suggestion of single quote as well. I would say A, because character is quoted by a single character, single quote, and a string would be the name of a student, name of a student quoted by a double quote. You can see that I would have the suggestion as well. No, there is no suggestion, and I would write it in double quote. Future teacher nerd. Yeah. Okay, now you can use the variables that we have in long float, double bool, character, string. Now, what is implicit typecasting and explicit typecasting? I will explain it later at the right time. Instead, okay, I will see you in the next lecture, and in the next lecture we will do some practice and see some real cases to use the variables that we have learned today. Okay, bye bye, bye bye.